Sports, the Ohio baseball team successfully made it through the spring season with some recognition along the way. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. I'm Lexi Lepoff. School districts across the nation are wrestling with COVID-19 prevention following widespread vaccination. And Monday night, a school board meeting in Albany forced its members to weigh conflicting obligations, seeking a middle ground between health professionals and passionate parents and teachers.
When Alexander school board members first took their seats, there was little to anticipate. The board expected it would simply uphold CDC recommendations for facial coverings. Under those guidelines, all students and staff would wear masks in a classroom setting, while those vaccinated could step outside the classroom mask-free. That measure was backed by Athens County Health Commissioner Dr. James Gaskell.
But what followed was an animated discussion among community members. Concerned parents and staff had petitioned for a less restrictive policy. They shared a common sentiment. Vaccinated individuals and students 10 and under shouldn't have to wear a mask.
That standpoint aligned with Governor Mike DeWine's recommendation and the more general guidelines from the CDC. Yet Board President Blake Regan was hesitant.
My PhD's in math education, but if you're going to ask me my recommendation on an health order, I'm going to go to the health people and get their recommendation.
Plus, Dr. Gaskell and the board held firm that it was not the duty of staff or students to ask others about their vaccination status, which meant that any other protocol would have to work on the honor system. And it wouldn't be the first such system. Superintendent Lindy Douglas acknowledges that neighboring districts of Nelsonville York, Trimble, and Federal Hocking all adopted optional mask policies for the summer. And with that information on the table, the community doubled down and the board began to listen. Both sides addressed contradictions between the state and federal guidelines, as in students could continue sports, ride the bus, or gather in common areas, all without masks.
One that always blew my mind was after a wrestling match, you can't shake hands. I'm with you with the contradictions left and right.
The board had changed its tone. It acknowledged that classroom settings were just too vaguely defined, and not to mention the building would only be at 10% capacity for summer school. Ultimately, after more than 30 minutes of discussion, the board amended its mask policy.
We can't ask, but if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask.
It means that we can take
It
our masks
basically
off.
means bye-bye.
In Albany, I'm Dylan Tyson for Newswatch.
The amendment was confirmed by a 3-1 vote Monday evening. The sole dissenter, Lucy Udis, said she's in full support of the board's collective action. A doctor who promotes anti-vaccination views is going viral for her testimony in favor of a bill banning Ohio businesses from requiring their employees to get COVID-19 vaccines. Dr. Sherry Tenpenny made a claim in a House committee meeting earlier this week that the vaccine could magnetize people so their keys could stick to their bodies. This widely disproven misinformation led some lawmakers to believe that changes should be made to the process of broadcasting hearings to include fact-checking. Ohio House Speaker Bob Cupp, however, says no changes should be made in an effort to maintain transparency.
Things are aberration. Most of the people that come to testify provide very valuable information to the committee as they deliberate on proposed legislation. I think it's a valuable service to the people of Ohio to be able to tune in and to see that.
House Bill 248 is still being discussed in the House Health Committee.
Taking a look outside right now, as we can see, a pretty dreary day right now, as we've seen throughout the day, with some thunderstorms and some even some points of sun sticking out. But throughout the day, we can just see that we did have a dreary day throughout the day. But overall, right now in Athens, it is still rainy, and this week ahead the sun does come back with small chances of rain, but that heat will sadly still remain. Right now in Athens, 74 degrees and cloudy with that high humidity, so it'll be a lot more unbearable than it actually is, with the winds low enough that it really won't help that 74-degree weather. Take a look right now throughout the region, warm, and back to you, Lexi.
The race for 2022 Ohio governor is just getting started, and one of the Democrat nominees made their way to Uptown Athens today.
Nan Whaley has been mayor of Dayton since 2013, but now has eyes on a bigger area to serve. She is declared as the first Democratic candidate for the 2022 gubernatorial election. Even though it's early in the race, Whaley hit the ground running with a 3-day tour in southeastern Ohio, filled with tours of local towns, coffee shops, and factories. One of her key messages is that every region in the state should have a voice.
Well, I think what's really important for the governor and the next governor is to make sure that we talk to all communities. And too often, being the mayor of Dayton, I see, like I've seen in communities this past week, folks that have been forgotten and ignored. And you know, we're really early in this campaign, and we wanted to be really intentional about seeing people in Athens, of course, but not just Athens, and Marietta, and Circleville, and Chillicothe, and Steubenville, you know, all across southern and eastern Ohio.
Whaley believes that with her experience in Dayton, she knows what to bring to the table in Columbus to help serve all classes and not just the upper class.
What the state has done is they've given really big tax cuts to the wealthy without really investing in our communities. And that's been happening for the past 3 decades of Republican rule. What we need is to make sure that we're really investing in our communities, that we have mental health services, that we have true partnerships to build roads and bridges and broadband instead of just talk about it all the time.
Whaley wants to show a small town community like Athens deserves better.
You've been working harder and harder and getting paid less and less. You're not making your ends meet, and the only answer that the State House gives you for your kids is that they should move away if they want to get a good paying job. It doesn't have to be that way. Ohio deserves better. We deserve good paying jobs for our kids so we have a strong quality of life. And we can grow these amazing, affordable communities with a real partner and investment.
Nick Veland, Newswatch.
Thank you, Nick. We'll continue to see how the primary races pan out for Ohio's highest office. Construction on Stimson Avenue is creating challenges for business owners and others, and former Speaker of the Ohio House is one step closer to removal. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
I'm Joe Mantegna. Join me along with my friend Kathy McCabe as we dream of Italy, travel, transform, and thrive. So Kathy, what can we look forward to?
This special has something for everyone, including how to live like an Italian, travel through Italy in a more meaningful way, and even move to or retire in Bell'Italia.
This month in Passport on the PBS Video app, your on-demand library for the best of PBS.
4 Hollywood stars are exploring their family's extraordinary World War II stories.
I truly believe that if we make the right decisions, together we can create a better future.
It's almost impossible to conceive of American life without The Wizard of Oz.
These and other shows are available with Passport on the PBS Video app. Download it today.
Hi, I'm David Holt. Join me on the next Great Scenic Railway Journeys as we take you to some of the oldest heritage railways in the nation. We'll show you some of today's most unique rail adventures, and we'll visit a few of America's treasured National Historic Sites.
We're going to take you back with some real oldies from the 16th and 17th centuries. We'll meet many of the great masters and tell their stories. I promise you an exhilarating ride. Along the way, you're likely to hear melodies that you know, but perhaps you don't know why. Meet the Masters. Classical Rewind on PBS.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Lexi Lepoff. A 4th member of the Beller family was arraigned on sexual abuse charges yesterday. 24-year-old Josiah Beller pled not guilty in the Athens County Court of Common Pleas to charges of rape and gross sexual imposition on 2 of his sisters. Prosecutors successfully requested a $100,000 bond because of the serious nature of the crime and the fact that the case could go longer than his December release date from a prior sentence to unrelated crimes. The charges stem from an investigation into claims of abuse made by his sister, Sarah Beller, in a social media post in April, a year after she had been reported missing. Sarah's parents, Robert and Deborah Beller, and brother Jonathan Beller, have also been indicted and incarcerated for their roles in the sexual abuse. A pretrial hearing for Josiah is set for early July. The Ohio House took a bipartisan first step in removing Republican Representative Larry Householder from his seat. The former speaker is accused in a federal bribery scheme aimed at bailing out nuclear power plants in Ohio. The first hearing was yesterday, almost a year after Householder and 4 others were arrested last July. Both parties passed separate resolutions to remove him from his seat. Larry Householder was removed as a speaker 1 week after his arrest. Half of Stimson Avenue has been closed for months due to construction, and some businesses along the street are struggling. Reporter Theo Suzuki explains reduced traffic flow and disruptions from the construction work have created huge costs and drastically reduced revenue for some business owners.
The $7 million project to renovate Stimson Avenue has long been overdue. The road was first built in the late 60s and is costly to maintain. It also lacks access for people with disabilities, which the new work will address. However, the project has had serious consequences for businesses on Stimson. Kevin and Carrie Tidd, owners of the pharmacy, say the road work has cut their business in half.
I hate to think of the worst, but it's getting really hard to hold on, to maintain.
The problem goes beyond a drop in customers. Jamie Sparhawk with Best of Athens Rentals claims that vibrations from the work have created cracks in the walls of their buildings and caused lights to fall from the ceiling. And that's not all.
The water has fountained out of the toilet from whatever they're doing with the sewer lines or the water lines. Like we just talk about, like, what if one of us were sitting on the toilet when that happened?
The city has met once with business owners to discuss the road work. After that meeting, it started sending weekly updates to businesses. But gaps persist, and some feel they need more support.
We're trying to help each other out, but this is it's really starting to look glum.
But Mayor Steve Patterson asserts that the project is still worthwhile.
Certainly it concerns me with what's going on Stimson Avenue right now as well. But I believe that once the street is completely opened again, it'll have the same flow, if not more, in terms of traffic.
Sandy Fan, owner of the restaurant China Fortune, has also seen her customers drop off. But she says she's been managing thus far.
So far, we can handle that. Or every problem, we can do it.
Business owners agree that the project, when complete, will be a big improvement, but that's cold comfort to those who are struggling now. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Teo Suzuki in Athens.
Construction on Stimson will continue through the coming months. Coming up on Newswatch, a Zanesville Art Center opened a new exhibition and the Crooksville Pool is open for business. These stories still ahead.
And will the sun come out tomorrow? Find out next in my full weather forecast. But first, here's a look at stocks of local interest.
PBS celebrates the legends of classic country.
Please help me, I'm falling. I'm so high, I could cry like a rhinestone cowboy.
With new live performances and classic clips, My Music remembers the legends of country.
Now it's even easier to stay connected with WOUB Public Media. Receive the latest news, watch your favorite programs live or on demand, and listen to podcasts or live radio everywhere you go using the WOUB Public Media app. And you get to carry me, WOUB radio announcer Chris Riddle, around with you all day. The app is available to download free on iOS and Android. Just search for WOUB.
Public television brings back the magic moments from the 1950s.
Sincerely.
The McGuire sisters, Pat Boone, Patty Page, Debbie Reynolds, and your favorite artists from the 1950s pop era.
We're going to take you back with some real oldies from the 16th and 17th centuries. We'll meet many of the great masters and tell their stories. I promise you an exhilarating ride. Along the way, you're likely to hear melodies that you know, but perhaps you don't know why. Meet the Masters. Classical Rewind on PBS.
Good evening, I'm your forecaster, Benjamin Byers. Well, it certainly has been a dreary day outside. As we can see right now in Athens, 74 degrees and cloudy with that humidity still up, making it almost unbearable outside. And those winds low enough that it's just not cooling us down at all. Take a look across our southeastern area. As you can see, throughout very hot temperatures with 74 in Athens, even 82 in Columbus, 77 in Newark, and 73 in Cambridge. So overall, just a hot day in our southeastern area. Take a look at tonight in Athens, 64 degrees, a chance of thunderstorms, and that chance of precipitation, 38%. But luckily, we don't have to worry about those winds carrying any debris or causing any trees to fall down tonight if a storm did happen. Taking a look at tonight, we'll get a cool down throughout the area, but as we can see, there's some chances of thunderstorm and many areas have just a cloudy night ahead of them. Taking a look at the hour by hour, 8 p.m. 72 degrees, 10 p.m. 69 degrees. So just overall a cloudy night tonight, but luckily very small chances of precipitation, but by 12 a.m. we can expect to see some fog. Take a look at the satellite map for right now. We see that there's major cloud coverage over our area in Ohio. When with a closer look, we can even see, again, we can't even see Athens County or much of Ohio in general. Taking a look at the temperature map, as you can see, we're in that between area. We're not as cool as higher up, but we're not even as warm as farther out west. So overall, we're about in the middle area. And for right now, taking a look, we could see there's some rain over us right now, which is where we can see those possibilities of precipitation or even thunderstorms that could come tonight. Taking a look at tomorrow in Athens, 88 degrees, so very hot tomorrow, but we'll have some cloud coverage, which will hopefully cool us down a bit, but the wind will almost do nothing for us, and that humidity will be high, making it almost unbearable again. Taking a look at the hour by hour for Athens, 6 a.m., there's going to be fog, so if you're driving out in Athens at 6 a.m., make sure to be careful on the roadways. Take a look at the 7-day forecast for the week ahead. For Saturday and Sunday, we can see some cloud coverage, and even Sunday, a chance of thunderstorms. But throughout the rest of the week, we see sun finally, and very small chances of precipitation. And back to you, Lexi.
Thanks, Ben. Residents in Crooksville are probably looking forward to better weather ahead. Summer staples are returning as COVID-19 vaccination rates continue to rise. Destiny Jaram reports kids in Crooksville can jump back into summer activities.
Kids in Crooksville are splashing and laughing as they enjoyed the first day of their local pool reopening on Tuesday. And it's not just the kids that are excited. Parents say they are too.
Yeah, I'm excited because it's another place to take the kids, as you can see. And it's close.
The pool was closed for 2 years because of COVID restrictions and construction. Community volunteers put in the hours to help the main pool get operational for the start of the summer. and Rebecca Snoffer stepped up to take the role as pool manager to ensure reopening.
We are excited for a great 2021 season.
She has a personal connection to the pool, as her mother worked here for 19 years. She felt it was important to have the pool open this summer and is ready to work. The outdoor Olympic-sized pool is located in the north end of Village Park. It is currently open from noon to 6 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and noon to 8 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays.
The pool will remain open until students return to school in the fall. The former Pioneer Elementary School overlooks the city of Zanesville, but it now houses a different kind of classes.
Now the Pioneer School Community Arts Center, the old school building houses an ever-changing gallery. The current exhibit is called Strong and Unusual.
And we have over 50 area artists that are participating in it. And it's really cool. We have some absolutely huge names, and we have up and coming beginners that wouldn't be recognized and known and are great artists.
Savage, the property's caretaker, is an artist himself and works to organize the center's exhibitions. He lives in an apartment on the property with his daughter. Quite literally above and behind the exhibition sits the homes and workspaces of several artists featured in it.
The premises, the building lends itself to the creativity. We have wheels and we have kilns and we have easels and we have most anything you need to create art.
Artists can rent a range of spaces for living and working.
So I love this building. I love this where it's at, positioned up above the school. The view is so amazing. It's worth part of your rent.
Smith, an artist and musician, has a studio space and living space just down the hall from each other, where he works and creates music. Other artists in the building include Christopher Cassidy, who lives in the building with his 5-year-old son Etzel. The two have a piece featured in the current exhibition.
To have the ability as a young person to work out that imagination and meet different people, perspectives here at the center, it's beautiful. It's a very wonderful privilege.
Another artist, Savannah Ramos, also lives in the building. Her mother runs a dog grooming business on the first floor, and her father utilizes a studio for his clay work.
So it's kind of cool to hear stories, especially because there's a lot of people that used to go here in Zanesville. So when they come in here, they're always telling their kids, "This was my classroom." And
looking towards the future, Savage said he hopes to create more opportunities for art classes for people in Zanesville and beyond to come and create. In Zanesville, I'm Taylor Burnett for Newswatch.
The current exhibition will be open until July 23rd on Fridays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. or any time by appointment.
Happy Friday, everyone. Coming up in sports, the Bloom Carroll baseball team looks to advance to the state title game. An update from the Bulldogs game in Akron coming up right after the break. And Ohio baseball is yet to name a new head coach. Why this season's interim coach put together quite a good resume for the job, that's coming up next on Newswatch. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Hi, I'm David Holt. Join me on the next Great Scenic Railway Journeys as we take you to some of the oldest heritage railways in the nation. We'll show you some of today's most unique rail adventures, and we'll visit a few of America's treasured National Historic Sites.
What is the purpose for which we are here? Why do we want to know ourselves?
Dr. Deepak Chopra, world-renowned pioneer in integrative medicine, created the 7 spiritual laws of success to help everyone reach their peak potential.
The 7 spiritual laws of success transform our life.
Join us for the Spiritual Laws of Success with Dr. Deepak Chopra.
PBS celebrates the legends of classic country.
Please help me, I'm falling. I'm so lonesome I could cry like a rhinestone cowboy
With new live performances and classic clips, My Music remembers the legends of country.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night.
Absolutely madcap and ridiculous.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Very few things stay funny forever. Python is still funny.
They are the sacred sextet of silliness.
Join some of the great comic influencers of our time to celebrate Monty Python's best bits.
Welcome back, I'm Brian Kerp. The Bloom Carroll Bulldogs are hungry for a Division II state title, and they just wrapped up action up in Akron against Baden at Canal Park. And the Bulldogs are heading to the state title game. BC shut out the Rams 4-0 behind 6 2/3 solid innings of work from Logan Moore. BC will play either Archbishop Hoban or Vermilion on Sunday. Ohio baseball is still waiting on a permanent head coach to be named. Interim head coach Craig Moore put in a pretty good application, though. Moore led Ohio to its first winning season since 2017 with a 28-25 record. Bob Wren Stadium was also home sweet home for the Cats as they finished with a 19-10 record at home. 2 Bobcat pitchers also made the All-MAC team. If you ask Craig Moore about his standing with the team after the season, he just says he's just enjoying the moment.
I've had an enjoyable ride in being in this position, leading this team, and very proud of the guys of how they've responded, every weekend and week out in terms of just wanting to play for each other and wanting to compete.
There's no word on when a permanent head coach will be named. The Cincinnati Reds wrapped up their 3-game series with the Milwaukee Brewers yesterday at beautiful Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, and it was a rubber match. The Brewers took the lead early, but welcome back Joey Votto. He hits one deep to right in his first game back, and what a catch by the kid. He goes over the seat, makes the catch, and gets helped up, but don't worry, he is okay. The Reds had the lead, but the Brewers took it right back, and then Daniel Vogelback hits one deep to right, and the Brewers will win the game and the series. The Blue Jackets named a longtime assistant as their new head coach 1 month and a day after parting ways with coach John Tortorella. Brad Larson spent the past 7 seasons behind the bench for Columbus as an assistant to Tortorella and previously to Todd Richards. Larson also played in the NHL for 13 seasons from 1997 to 2010. Larson has 2 years of head coaching experience in the American Hockey League. I'm Brian Kerp, and that's it for sports. Back over to you, Lexi.
More prizes may be heading your way as part of the Buckeye State's Vax-A-Million lottery. Governor Mike DeWine says he is talking to businesses about more possible incentives to increase vaccination rates. DeWine credits the $1 million prizes and college scholarships with encouraging hesitant Ohioans to roll up their sleeves.
Let's take a final look at your weather. For tonight in Athens, will cool down to 64 degrees. There is a chance of thunderstorm and a small chance of precipitation. So if you're going out tonight, please make sure you watch out for the sky. Taking a look at tonight throughout our southeastern area will cool down, but some areas will experience some cloud coverage and some possible thunderstorms. And back to you, Lexi.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Lex.
This month in Passport on the PBS Video app, your on-demand library for the best of PBS.
4 Hollywood stars are exploring their family's extraordinary World War II stories.
I truly believe that if we make the right decisions, together we can create a better future.
It's almost impossible to conceive of American life without The Wizard of Oz.